I've said this before, but I really mean it sincerely. I don't think there's a better time to be in the group game than now, even though we still face a lot of challenges. I get it. However, planting the seeds now, getting the knowledge now, having a plan now to grow your existing group business and or to build a brand new group business, this is your day. This is your time. There's a part of me that is obviously really sad that this podcast and these coaching sessions and group sales boot camp comes to an end at the end of the year. Because now more than ever, I think the advisor community needs this information, needs this inspiration, and needs the better solutions, because still to this day, too many advisors, in my personal opinion, could be doing things better, smarter, stronger to have a healthier, bigger, more potent group business, because more than ever before, people are going to want to travel together. And you know that. I'm preaching to the choir here. There's a part of me also that's very excited about the new stuff I've got going on, which I'll sprinkle and I'll mention. So here's what's coming on, what's going to happen today. I appreciate you being here. I want to make this hour that we're together very fruitful for you, that you feel great, that you did it, that you showed up. Yeah, I'm going to give you at least 20 ways of building a more successful sales pipeline, really attracting more groups, making more sales, a higher quality group. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And it's not going to be easy giving you all 20 plus whatever ideas, concepts. And my boot campers, you probably heard these before. If you're not in boot camp, maybe you haven't. Okay. It's because normally I do this in over a 1 hour live presentation. It usually goes for a couple of hours because we brainstorm, but I'm going to get through it as fast as I can to, at the very least, pique your interest, give you ideas. And we can follow up in the Facebook group if you have questions, but this is not rocket science. So that's coming up today. I also have 2 letters that were sent to me by 2 participants. Thank you very much, Doreen and Holly, for this. Holly, we're going to get to yours right after we do the top 20 tips for getting new, higher quality group sales. And Holly's got a great new opportunity about launching in a new community. This is really great. I think this will be of interest for everybody, not just Holly. So stick around for that. I love what your ideas here, and I have answers for you about should you set up group cruises? How do you pivot? How do you transition from being a travel orator? I love this, to travel advisor. I really love it. We're going to get to that. But first, I want to start off with what Doreen sent here from Coons Travel and Tours. And it's going to allow me, friends, to segue into those top 20. And then we'll talk Holly's question. And also, as you know, I welcome you to please, if you're here with me in my office today, that's the way I like to imagine this. To me, it's not Zoom. We're hanging out. We're together. That if you have a comment, a question, something to share, I wish you would please type it into that chat room. Don't bother with the Q&A thing. There's too many things for me to focus on. Just focus on the chat room, and do me a favor, would you? Make sure you send it to everybody. You could send a personal message to somebody, of course, but send it to everybody so they can see what you're sharing. And I will endeavor to read it aloud, answer, or at the very least share and ask others, because your input is invaluable here. So here we go. And by the way, the last Group Sales Power Hour is going to be recorded on December 16. I'd like to say there's going to be a big surprise, but I haven't come up with one yet. Maybe I will. Who should I have? I will ask you. You know, I've been doing this since 2015, February. There are hundreds of power hours, and they started off as the Ask Stuart Hour. Now it's the Group Sales Power Hour. In any case, is there a guest? Are there guests? Who would it be fun for me? They could have a big title. They could be in the industry. Whoever, tell me, is there anybody that intrigued you so much you want me to have them back for the last show? I'd be curious to get your feedback on that. Nancy asked, hey, Nancy, how many of us are still here since 2015? How many Stuart hours is that? Yeah, that's a lot of Stuart hours on those podcasts, of course. But I don't know how many still has Stuart that 2015. There's actually a lot. There's actually a very high number. Loyalty has been phenomenal. That's a great question. I don't have an exact number, but I know it's really good. It's healthy. And I feel very special, very honored to have you and Sam and so many others that have been with me since really the very beginning. So here we go. We'll start off with Doreen's note here, which will segue into the top 20. And so here we go. So let me just address this right away because it's a big question. For the past 2 years, I've been a member of your Group Skills Bootcamp. It's awesome. Thank you. Very sweet. The information is invaluable. It's my personal library, and I love it. Your videos are inspiring. Group Sales Success Summits 1 and 2 have so many wonderful videos. Yeah, we have over 120 videos, over 120 presentations between GSSS 1 and 2. And by the way, if you didn't attend Bootcamp Live, which was not Group Sales Bootcamp, you can still purchase that to view it after. But I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to share information and get you pumped and inspired. And so Doreen says, what are your future plans for Group Sales Bootcamp and only information, all the videos and so forth? So I'm going to give you the long and short of it right here, which is very simple, that any advisors who have renewed, are members of Group Sales Bootcamp going through this year, you will have forever access. It will go offline for anybody. I have not sold it, offered it to anybody new, Group Sales Bootcamp, okay, because it used to be on an annualized basis. But if you have sustained, if you stayed in for this year, that demonstrates to me you love what you see. It inspires you. You need the information. You love it. You keep coming back to it. So as long as you've renewed, you don't have to pay anything more. You just have forever access, and it's in private links, basically. You'll have your login, and only you can come back and consume it as often and as much as you wish. And now if you're asking, well, Stuart, but you've been doing speaking in our travel industry for 14 years, maybe even 15, and I'll still be doing that. I'm not leaving the business. I've just gained a new skill set, and that's ADHD as a skill set. I am now an ADHD life coach. And yes, I do one-on-one coaching, but I also have pivoted my speaking career there too. So I will have two specialties, two niches, if you will, travel and hospitality, working with you. I'm not leaving, not going anywhere, and also a whole new audience. And I couldn't be more excited. I'm not going to go into detail there, but if you have any interest, or if you have friends or family who you think can benefit or learn what an ADHD life coach does, let me know. Happy to have that conversation. I love it, love it, love it. So there you go. And I want to read this from Doreen too now, because I wanted to inspire each and every one of you listening right now. Due to COVID, I closed my business in March of 2020, shortly after it opened, which was very disappointing, but it was a blessing in disguise. Now listen to what Doreen says here. I quickly learned 2 life-saving lessons. I want to share this with you. Doreen, I hope you don't mind that I read this aloud, because I find it inspiring and not too personal. I quickly learned 2 life-saving lessons. Number 1, don't give up my day job until I'm established. And number 2, Group Sales Bootcamp taught me to dig deep. Now, more important, listen to these words: dig deep into myself, discover my passions, and focus on sharing and selling them instead of being a group's generalist. And Doreen, by the way, that's a beautiful, magnificent realization, transformation that you're going through. And I need each and every one of you to look at me, hear my voice, if you're listening to this after as a podcast, and make the same commitment to yourself that Doreen just revealed she did to herself, which is, I'm going to read it again. Dig deep into myself. Dig deep into yourself, discover your passion, focus on sharing and selling that instead of being a group generalist. Friends, so much of your success depends on knowing who you are. And I'm giving a little bit of my top 20 away here, and communicating that properly. too many advisors are still generalists. That drives me crazy, having been an influencer and been on the corporate side, starting off as a DSM, district sales manager, for so many years in this business. Still to this day, there's too many. I think, my humble opinion, take it or leave it, you may not agree with me, are still generalists. And then she goes on to say, final note here, Jan 2022, I will relaunch my business with a soft launch. I'm talking too fast. What I'm curious is how many of you listen to this podcast at 1.25 or 1.5 or 2.0? I'm curious, because that's the way I listen to my messages, my podcasts. I will relaunch my business with a soft launch amongst family, friends, and my sales territory. I can't wait to use your 10-point group viability test. Yeah. And group launch sequence. Oh, yeah. To promote my 2023 groups with me as the magnet. Are you listening? Are you hearing what Doreen has got going on here? Very important. Every word she said. Soft launch amongst family, friends, and sales territory. Group viability test. Know before you go. Don't just take every group idea willy-nilly, because some of them aren't going to work, as you probably know. And group launch sequence. Do the right promotion. And we're not going to talk about it on today's show. So, Doreen, thank you for making this transition easy for me, because now we're going to go into the, I don't know, about 20 or so. So buckle up. Let me just check the boards here, see if anyone is making any comments here. Oh, you're recommending to me who might be Mike Marsha. Oh, yeah, dear friend. And I couldn't agree with you more. Yep. Couple of you. I love that, Mike. I love that concept. And okay, here we go. I want to start off to make sure you're listening very carefully, because I'll start off telling you 4 things not to do. 4 things not to do. You consider part of my top 20. You can, if you want. Sometimes knowing what not to do is equally, if not more important than knowing what to do. My boot campers have heard this ad nauseum. You've heard this a lot. If you're new with me here as my guest, maybe you've never heard it before. Number 1, but I'm not going to count this as top 20, but let's just say A is quit promoting the travel free thing. I don't believe that serves your best interest. That's going to attract you. I don't believe it's going to attract the highest quality groups that you really want, because it's going to be all about what? Yes. All they want to do is travel free. Trust me, it will fail 9 out of 10 times when that's all the group or the group leader cares about. I do not believe, while it's short, sweet, and sexy, it's ineffective and will not get you quality groups. All right. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that. Next, which would be B, we're not talking speculative or promotional groups, friends. We're talking affinity. And that's why, Holly, in your question, which we're going to get to right after, about, should you block space in advance? Well, that's promotional space, speculative space. Everything in boot camp and this conversation is all about affinity groups. Friends, if you don't understand or know or need to have a better clarification of what affinity is, look it up. Look at some of past few hundred power hours, but know that there is a remarkably distinct difference between affinity, promotional, or speculative groups. Okay. No, I'm not going to go into it right now. I have another ones, but I think most of you know. If you don't, let me know. Type it in and I'll give you a better definition of it. And don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy to ask. There's no question that's stupid. There's only stupid answers. I try to avoid that. Please don't be marketing with lowest prices. That's going to come back to bite you big time. I'm preaching to the choir. I know that. And finally, which would be D, I'm not a big believer in push marketing, that you should be doing pull marketing. And that's going to segue me right into this here. And push marketing versus pull marketing. Push marketing is when you advertise. when you run ads, whatever it may be, you do a direct mail campaign, and that's fine. You can do all that you want. However, I think a more effective and cost-effective proposition is for you to do pull marketing. Pull marketing means you become the magnet. It doesn't mean you can't do some advertising, but basically you're pulling people in to follow you, to build your funnel, to build your list. I'll say it again. You're pulling people in to follow you. You're the magnet. I'm going to tell you how to do that because they're interested in you. They may or may not themselves want to book with you, but may have friends or family who may, and you are the reason why they're in the funnel because they want you, they feel they may need you now or at some point, versus running an ad saying how great you are. Call now. We've got deals, travel free. We've got group space. That stuff doesn't work anywhere near as effective as what we're going to talk about now. All right. All right. So here we go. Let me just make sure there's no other messages. Good. No other messages. And we move right on. Number one, and don't tell me this is going to bore you, but before you do anything, you've got to have, you've got to know who you are. You've got to understand your purpose here. Like what we heard Doreen talk about before, she has redefined who she is as an advisor in the business and not a generalist. And basically, if you're not crystal clear on who you are, then don't expect anybody else to know. So number one is to be deliberate. I want you to be deliberate in your purpose here. Maybe it's your passion you're going to pursue, but I need you to be true to you, which means here comes that N word, niche. You got to, please, I beg of you. If you don't do this, if you don't niche, and don't make it too wide. And as far as I'm concerned, the sharper the niche, the better you are, because it's easier to communicate and people for understand your marketing message. It's easier for you to know where to market, how to market, what to say. And make sure it's a niche that you're irrationally passionate about. I love that, irrationally passionate. So that has to be number one. I want you to spend some time, please. If you want to get quality, more high quality groups, you need to take a step back and redefine and totally get who you are. I hope you've had time to do that during this great in between in our industry and in our lives. Number two, I want you to put that down, and you want me to take a look at it? I may regret this now, but I'm happy to do it. I know, was it Doreen? You sent me your new website, right? And I'll take a look at that. I don't make a habit of this because I could get easily overwhelmed. However, to boot campers, of course, I'll do it. And if you're listening to me right now, I want to see your one-page hot sheet. That's number two. You got to do it. One page, not 10-point font, not even 12, smaller. Less is more. The easier it is to describe who you are and what you're doing and who your target audience is and why you deserve my business. Basically, as Guy Kawasaki says, who am I marketing? The more I'll know I need you, the more effective all your marketing efforts and promotions will be in attracting the groups you want. Make sure that this document really describes who you are and why I need you. Well, crystallize that for me, please. So I want you to make a one-page hot sheet, right? So we're on number two, make a one-page hot sheet. So many of us don't have it. We don't do it. Oh, I'm going to get to it. I've tried. It's 5 pages. No, make it a half a page. Make it the side of an index card. Number three, from that, now you can build your website. Now you can do your social media stuff. Because you've heard me say this before, all of your touch points, wherever I come to see you and find you, you need to be telling the same story. You can't be shouting travel free and best deals and best prices and have a brand driven deal riddled website if your one page hot sheet tells a different story, that you are passionate of doing this destination or this type of product or this kind of experience. So I want you to align everything and be brand consistent. That's number three. I'm helping you build a foundation. Building a good, strong, purpose-filled foundation is critical to attracting the quality group business you want. And sometimes we overlook that. We just hang the shingle out front and we use the older methods like travel free. Number four, I want you to quit, stop, ixnay on the oxnay, searching for group leaders. Everyone says, how do I find more group leaders? They think that's the answer. That's the solution. And I'm telling you, it's not. Because you don't want, why would you want to go looking for a group leader who's already been doing this for whatever years, and they're maybe aligned with other agents already, and they may be too savvy for their own good? Why don't you just flip the narrative, change your perspective? Don't look for group leaders, create new group leaders. Number 4, this is a mindset thing, but also a strategic mindset move. Well, strategic mindset, yes, but strategic in terms of action. I want you to be seeking not group leaders, because people don't even know what that is, unless they've been doing it. You told them, hey, you're a group leader. I just want you to seek out influencers, discover new influencers. You know what I mean, right? So it's your role, if you want higher quality groups, to create new group leaders. And you've heard me say this before too. You may not want to call them a group leader. They may not want that title. They may have another stuff on their plates. They're probably an influencer in their particular field, an expert, and that's why you're talking to them. It could be the leader of the family too. So it doesn't have to be of a restaurant or a publisher, is what I'm saying. So number 4, quit searching for the group leaders, but create new ones. Okay. And number 5, this is a biggie here. And Doreen, we started off in your paragraph to me, you're doing this. You are no longer going to be looking far and wide for groups. You're going to focus in your own backyard, as I like to say, your own backyard, because I am the biggest believer that all the business you'll ever need is right there. And that's where you live and work, and also online too, which we'll get more into. We're going to get more into that in just a second. But I give you permission right now, professionals, to quit looking all over the globe, all over the world, and trying to go after pieces of business that are just so far out of your comfort zone that you don't want it to be a comfort zone, because you don't get it. You don't know them. It's not your passion. It's not your purpose. And it's just too far, either physically or even online, to break into. You're not irrationally passionate about it. Everything you need is in your own backyard. Trust me. All the advisors who I've given this tip to, who practice it, come back and say, you're right. You're right. I'm going a little too crazy here. I'm going to focus my efforts. At number 6, therefore, you're going to focus your efforts on putting yourself in opportunities way. You're going to get up, you're going to get out. One of the best ways to discover new business, of course, is to join all those local organizations, to get all the local newspapers and so forth, but also to go to meetings. And I do hope that in your community, that opportunity is back. I was so excited. I went to an in-person giant networking meeting. They used to be giant. We used to be over 300 people. Now they're a little over 100, but I'm glad I went, and I got to see some old friends and kindle relationships and start the networking process. But you have to put yourself in opportunities way. Get up, get out, do something, go to these meetings, meet the people, and volunteer. I think one of the most effective ways is to volunteer. Number 7, told you I'm going to pick up speed on this, but I hope some of these are like, oh, I'm doing it, Stuart. I'll do it. I've tried it, Stuart, or duh, or no. Okay. I didn't realize that was that important. I really need to do it to get higher quality business. Number 7, focus on celebrations. If you're having a hard time coming up with that niche, hey, Ceci, it's good to see you here too. See, I get distracted, but I love it when you participate and everybody types in. I'm so happy to be among friends. Thank you. Celebrations. Having worked for the cruise lines and for a tour operator before, I could tell you hands down the number 1 most popular type of group is a celebration. So that could be your niche, or at the very least, start there. People love taking celebration trips, and you probably know this, but in case you think that's just too easy, you could build your whole business around celebrations now, can't you? And number 8, and this, it kind of tags along with looking in your own backyard, which is not to advertise or promote this to everyone on your own list, your existing list that you've had for I don't know how many years. Don't tell them, ask, right? Yeah. Ask. I want you to ask this question: what big events are on your horizon? I want you to ask that question. I want you to ask, are you going someplace fun to celebrate? Ask the question, engage, don't tell, ask. Do you have any friends or family who go on incentive trips with their company? Do you have any friends or family who have any big celebrations coming up? Can we travel? Can we go someplace? Would it be more fun? Are you part of any organizations that has any anniversaries or any big events and annual events coming up? Ask everyone. You've got to ask. Don't tell. Ask. Big difference there. Remember, telling is push marketing. Asking is pull marketing. And then, you've probably heard this before, and I got this from Alex Pinello when he was at Norwegian, which is the simplest of all, is when you're talking to your individuals, you want to start mini groups by just simply saying, and I do you do this now? Tell me, do you do this whenever you book individuals? Do you say, would it be fun to travel with anybody else? You have any friends and family it'd be fun to travel with? Anybody come to mind? Before you know it, you've got 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, you get a mini group going. That's cool. Do you do that now? I bet you do. All right. We'll keep that under number 8. Number 9, and I know some of you have already done this, like Kyle. It's even on your email signature, which I love. The 15-minute meeting campaign. How do you get out? How do you source all the business locally that's in your own backyard? You set out a 15-minute meeting campaign, which can be done via Zoom for somebody who doesn't live in your community. But 15 minutes is just a safe number. It has a start, has an end, get up, get out. And it's a great way to show interest in other people, to get to meet people. Don't go selling. I took for a whole hour on this concept. I do it. In fact, I just did it, and I have an appointment right after the Thanksgiving week with somebody on the faculty of University of Memphis to talk about my ADHD life coaching for students. I asked for a 15-minute meeting, and within seconds, literally, she wrote back saying, sure, after the holidays, and sure. It was so simple. I'm not selling anything. I'm asking if this has ever been come up. It's their topic. If it's ever a need, is there somebody on staff? Is she aware of this? Who can I talk to? You or somebody else? It's an exploratory meeting, but you're doing a 15-minute meeting more to learn about them and to build your network. And who knows, maybe they're the ones who could be your new influence, your new group leader, or at the very least can plug into 10 others. You're welcome, Kyle. Now, I want you to integrate into communities. Are you doing this now? Tell me if you are online. Are you part of other groups in your field, in your niche? See if you're a generalist. I'm not sure this will work, but if you have a specific focus, let's say it's scrapbooking. I'm just making this up because my sister-in-law does scrapbooking, and they travel. They don't do cruises or anything big. They go to a small Airbnbs or little hotels and so forth. However, there are plenty of really large scrapbooking groups, as an example. Are you in those communities locally and online too? Are you participating? I hope you're not selling with you there, because if you do, they'll boot you out. They'll mute you because you're promoting. And some of the rules, just like I have in my group sales success Facebook group, is you can't be promoting your own stuff. No, you want to promote your own stuff, you ask me for permission. Maybe we'll do something as a joint venture. Otherwise, no, this is an information group, and those are the rules. So be real careful, right? You don't want to get booted from a group, because then that actually obviously does not serve your purpose. And then next is, and this comes back to the very essence of the pull marketing concept, which is to get followers. The more followers you have, the more prospects you will have. You want to start off, it's that funnel approach, right? Up at the top, you have tons of followers, people who find you interesting. They read your stuff. They see your videos. They look at your pictures. They're on your list. They may not have booked ever. They may never book, but they may send somebody your name. You want to build that giant funnel of followers, because they will become prospects. It's hard to find a prospect unless they're that tire kicker and I say that, those people who are just not following, they have no idea who you are. They're just calling you for a price. I'd much rather somebody get to know you, be in the list, and call you and say, hey, listen, I really have enjoyed your articles. I've enjoyed your seminars and so forth. And now I have a question, I have a need. Can you help me? So number 11 is To get followers, you need to start a community. It's one thing to actually participate in others, but you want it to be tethered to your own community. How many of you right now have your own themed community? And Holly, I see what you're saying. I'm going to answer that. But if you're getting online followers and you're looking outside your own backyard, no, I mean, you want to get followers in that particular niche. Let's say scrapbooking. You start some kind of a scrapbooking community, whether it's, I don't know, on Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or Instagram, wherever it may be. And so it's a purpose-built social community, Holly. And they're there because they have that interest. I just started an ADHD life coach Facebook page, and I'm going to be looking to build a community and I'm going to be doing everything that's on this list. And it's not even in travel. Understand? Exactly. You got it, Holly. My pleasure. So, and you're going to be doing, how do you do that? You start a community, you become, number 12, a celebrity authority in something. And frankly, you cannot be a celebrity authority as a generalist. I know that's hurtful, that's painful, but I don't know how you can be a celebrity authority if you're a generalist. You become a celebrity authority if you're an expert on scrapbooking groups, if you're an expert on river cruises, if you're an expert on Caribbean resorts, if you're an expert on, adventure travel, Roman, whatever it is. You want to get a following. You want to become a powerful magnet, an influencer. You want to have people seek you out. This is the pinnacle right here. This is the top to become a celebrity authority. And I know it's a play on words here. I'm not necessarily saying you need to be a celebrity per se, but you need to be an authority figure, right? I like to use colorful adjectives. Let's see. Sam. Hey, Sam says, my focus is travel to Ireland, UK, and I'm starting a mystery book club called the Who Done It Book Club, as I'm an avid reader of British mysteries. Our first meeting is January. Love it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Sam is pursuing her passion of British mysteries, starting a community, a book club. That's what I'm talking about, everybody. You start a community, people will follow you and you're going to talk about stuff you love talking about, right, Sam? I can't wait. I haven't really officially launched it with content yet, but for my Facebook and Instagram pages, I have a plan already of what I'm going to share, and it's going to be from the heart. It's what I want to talk about. And you know what? The people who want to hear what I've got to say and share and add, they'll follow. They'll follow. Same for you. And one thing you can do, which is number 13, is give out free stuff. Yeah, give out free stuff. I just watched a webinar the other day from these two people who they teach you how to do professional podcasts, how to do a successful podcast. And I watch because I'm like you, I'm interested. I want to learn as much as I can. Heck, you're here listening to me. I listen to them. And it was really great, very informative. But of course, at the end of the day, they want to sell you their big $400 or $500 package to get the rest of the information. But you know what they did? They gave out free stuff. Number 13, they gave me, I don't know, 50, 60, maybe 70%, because that's one of the rules I heard in a book I read about how to market yourself and get followers. Give out 70%, but save the other 30. So basically, they told me everything, what I need to be doing. They just didn't tell me how to do it. And if I paid the $400 or $500, they'd tell me how, the step-by-step process, if I want to pay that. But the bottom line is I'm on their list now, and I get an email a day, which I'm not too thrilled about. At the end of the day, that's their mission. I got what I needed out of it. They're not going to get a sale from me, but I'm sure plenty of others will. Give out free stuff. Number 14, how many of you, let me see, go ahead and type in here, type in the name of an event you've had. An event meaning you did a presentation, you did a Zoom presentation. And when I say an event, it's not necessarily for a specific group, but it's something you did for a community, either online or in person. Some kind of event, cruise night. Remember back in the day, it was all about the cruise night. Are you doing events? And we're going to talk about that, Holly, after, because that was something that you're going to be doing in a new community, which I think is awesome. Holly said River Cruising 101, the Great Rivers of Europe. Nancy says Maine Outdoor Adventure Club, monthly meeting on Zoom, hosted and invited international reps from Argentina, Chile. Wow. That makes a statement. Now, I know if I want to go to that or not, just because it says Outdoor Adventure Club. And who's going to be there? Reps from Argentina and Chile. Boy, that's specific. That's clear. I love that, Nancy. I know you're having great success with that. And you did host that event, and you always do. Doreen said, not yet. I'm having a cruise night during Wave Rave. There you go. Love it. Now, I don't know if some of you are shy. You just don't want to type in. I know I see the names there. I think you've done stuff before, but you need to have events, especially if you can do them consistently, whether you do them in person or online. It could be pre-recorded too. And just say, hey, we go live in 4 minutes, and then you click play and the video plays of you. So maybe you're shy or nervous about doing something free. It could be a webinar, it could be a conversation, but have events. Stand out, be known as the celebrity authority because you're doing something. You're not just saying you are. People want to hear you. They'll follow you. They'll get on your list. You have an opt-in. Nancy went ahead and added and figured out how to upload the recording sessions to YouTube channel. So now Nancy's got a YouTube channel. Awesome. Piece of cake to do, right? Once you figured it out. Beautiful. So that stuff is still working for you. Lori, Small Ship Cruise Expo with 20 plus suppliers pre-recorded during wave season. Love it, love it, love it. Small Ship Cruise Expo. I love Expo. And it was pre-recorded. Brilliant. That's how I did my group sales success summits. You remember? I had over 100 or 60, a little over 60 speakers per, but it was all pre-recorded. Because doing live stuff, especially we have so many speakers, get so technically risky. And it was during wave season, but it's beautiful because then you're not locking the vendor, the brand into a specific time when, oh, geez, I can't make it. I'm on an airplane. I'll get somebody else. No. Just record this on your own time. Send it over. Whether it's a conversation or they send over a presentation. Magnificent, Lori. Well, we could talk about that for ages because that's something I had a lot of success with doing launches like that and being really smart and efficient. Kisa, hey, Kisa, says planning weekly series to post on my YouTube and where'd it go? YouTube and share to my Facebook page. So Kisa is doing this, is about to do this, planning weekly series to post on the YouTube channel and share. I love it. People want to see consistency too. Just like a podcast. If you ever, I'm sure some of you do, or a TV show that you watch, you like when the new one comes out, you follow it. You want them to follow you. Sam said, I did my first Zoom event inviting friends and clients called Friends Who Travel. Bring your best travel stories. I set it up so I could get more comfortable with Zoom in the company of friends. Excellent. Zoom event. Do it. You just got to do it to get comfortable with it, right? Thank you for sharing, everybody. If you have more stuff, keep sharing. But number 14, have events. Number 15 is there's always the potential there to win an existing group. And I had to put it in here because what's important to me, friends, is that if you're aware, if you find out that somebody who's on your list, a follower of yours, a friend or family, they travel with another group or they're the group leader and they work through a different agency. Of course, you want to have respect for that, but you can say, how's it going? And if they say it's great, my advisor is awesome because they're a member of Stuart's Group Sales Boot Camp and they give me loyalty, great service, and I send a group agreement letter and we always sell out because he uses the group lunch sequence. Well, hands off. Nice to meet you. Here's my card. Should something go wrong or let me be your number two. That's the way you proceed there, right? However, maybe they're not that happy. Maybe there's an advisor who has not gone to Group Sales Boot Camp and they're motivated by price and freebies and all kinds of stuff that really isn't focused on delivering the best group experience. But you don't want to win it on better prices. In fact, you want to be a little bit higher. Why? Because you're better. I think that's okay, but you have to validate why you're creating a package that's a little bit more expensive because it's a little bit more inclusive, right? So please, it's very important that you, if you're going to endeavor to win a group, respect each other, right? You guys are all competitors right now who are with me. Your competitors and your colleagues and your friends. You go to the same meetings. You share information all the time. Believe me, there's more than enough business out there for everybody. But you know, just like with any sale you make, you have to understand, how come we're talking right now? What went wrong? It doesn't have to be advisor specific, or maybe they booked direct in it and it was lousy, which it probably may not be lousy, but wouldn't be as good if you booked it yourself, because they're going to be one dimensional and you're going to add a three-dimensional aspect to this group, because you have the ability to add in and do all kinds of fun stuff where if you book direct, you don't. So there you go. You want to find out what went wrong. How could it be better? And really convince them how you're going to do a better job. They should hire you. That's how you want to win a group. That's 15. And then there's 16, which I think is the biggest of all, to start a new group. Great quote from Dave Ramsey. Ideas are a dime a dozen. People who execute them are not. You get it? I bet you do. Yeah. You have these big ideas, and you really want to vet those ideas. You want to bounce them off of colleagues, bounce it off of me, bring it now or bring it to the next Power Hour on December 16th. Know before you go. Give it the group viability test. Is this going to work? What are the chances of fail? What can go wrong here? Well, make a list of everything that could possibly go wrong, right? Because it may be a great idea, but it may be great in concept, but not in actual reality. And moving from 16 to 17, because I want you to launch your big ideas, especially if you have a niche, especially if your branding is consistent, especially if it's within your love circle and within your communities. Everything I'm giving to you now is in a logical format, sort of next steps. You can't jump to number 16 if you don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm a big believer in that. And a way to attract new groups or start a new group, but a way to start a new group is to solve a problem. My boot campers are familiar with this. My concept that we shouldn't be selling groups. We shouldn't be selling groups to, especially if we have a big idea. If you're selling something, then it's your big idea, not theirs. You want it to be their big idea. And at the end of the day, groups solve problems, right? I know my boot campers already had that already on top of your mind. So friends, if you're hearing this for the first time, all groups solve problems. You can't have a successful group if it's not solving a problem. And I dare you, I challenge you to come up with a successful group that didn't solve a problem. Okay, but Stuart, okay, so we've got a superstar who's going to come sing for the week. Well, what's the problem? The problem is those people, the fans, desperately want to spend private time, have a very intimate experience with that celebrity. So the problem that you're solving is bringing them onto the ship to this hotel to have a very intimate experience, or else at a big arena, big format, they may never get to meet a celebrity chef, an author, somebody, or whoever, a family. You're solving a problem too. You know that because we've got all these generations. We don't know where to go, what to do. You're solving a problem with that group by coming up with a good solution, a good destination, a good product that will make sure everyone has a great time. This is what you do in those 15-minute meetings as you're talking to people and they uncover a problem. Maybe it's loyalty. Maybe they want to do a reward for their customers. There's a problem that you can solve with group travel, friends. And if this is a new concept to you, I want you to write it down and think it through, because it will help you in the sales process. So you're not selling, but you're solving instead. Number 17. And this is actually coming back to, I had these out of order. So what are you going to do? I got notes like crazy scribbled here. Launching your big idea Okay. And I had to put this as a separate point because there are so many big ideas. The challenge is that they're great ideas, but in reality, they don't work well. So what I want you to do is make sure that you not only run it by colleagues who are on this call today or by coaches. If I'm not your coach, whoever your coach is, then talk to, most importantly, the brand. I know we call them the suppliers, but talk to the brand, because don't worry, they're not going to steal it. I just don't think they're going to steal it. They want you to succeed too. And maybe they've had experience. Someone else tried it and it failed. Find out why. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but maybe you can learn from their mistakes, or somebody says does do it very well. And they can give you tips and strategies and hindsight why it went so well. So there's just a great way to grow your group business, and you have a big idea, especially talk to the brand, the supplier, because they may say, hey, I have a connection. I have a contact. I know somebody. Maybe they can help you in that regard. Having been on that side of the fence, that happens. Number 18, which is my most favorite of all. Now, here we go. This is a question. I want everybody to participate. How many of you have been your own group leader? You have led a group. I don't care how small or how big. Have you led a group, whether it's friends or family, or whether it's just clients that you have with you? I just want to see a yes. I want to see how many yeses we get. And if it's a no, would you do me a favor? Would you add a sentence after saying why you haven't done it yet? Because I think, friends, this is your single biggest opportunity. However, you got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, blah first, because even if you lead your own group, whether it's your own friends or family you're inviting, or whether it's followers, your brand needs to be good. Your message needs to be good. People need to know why. Why would I want to travel with Holly? Why would I travel with Ceci, Doreen, Elaine, John? Why would I want to travel with Kisa, Kyle, Lori, Nancy, Patty, Sean, Sheila? Why would I want to travel with Stuart? I'm doing my second partial ship charter with Amur Waterways, July 2022. My second partial ship charter. Why? Because my wife and I, Kimberly, we love river cruising, and everyone was jealous when we river cruised before. So we said, okay, let's open it up. So it's friends and family, partial ship charter, sold out July 2022. We're doing the lower Danube. Can't wait on the Amba Verde. You can do the same thing. And the beautiful part is we're going on vacation and with friends and family, and only people who we find fun and interesting, by the way. So let's see. We have lots of yeses here. Yes from Holly. Sam says yes. Doreen, yes. Patty, yes. Kisa, yes. Nancy, yes. Nancy, who said I'm often the organizer and escort. Kyle, yes. Sean, yes. Kisa, yes. Doreen said excellent. Thank you. I know you're going to do it too. That was part of your message. So friends, I think you should be leading, hosting, being the magnet for at least one group a year. At least go where you want to go, especially make sure, I would hope it's within your niche, because people will want to travel with you because, hey, you're an advisor. You're going to know more than me. And traveling with you means I'm not going to miss anything because my travel advisor is going with me. And the beautiful part is if you start with friends and family and they invite their friends and family, before you know it, you're meeting new people, you're growing your list, and it gets bigger and bigger year after year. Elaine said a long time ago, all right, maybe it's time again. Nancy said, we are your friends. How many cabins on your Amma cruise? So I have 15 cabins on the Amma cruise. I know you're my friend too. I actually had a cancellation. Somebody unfortunately took ill and is unable to go. So I don't promote it to my travel advisor friends because my guess is you have lots of opportunities to travel. However, if you're interested, let me know. I'm happy to. Okay, we got to finish this because I promised we're going to get to Holly's. Here we go. There you go. So that was 18. You be the group leader. And I really, really believe that this can be an annual, and you can even do 2-year and eventually 3-year. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Do a great job because you're going to get residual business, other business from that. Number 19, find strategic partners. Again, if you have a niche, you have a clarity of your purpose, your true north, it will be easy to know who would be a good strategic partner. And I'm not necessarily saying somebody in travel, but another business, another organization, and you do it together, you team up. I think this is great because a lot of times they will have followers, they will have the list, they will be able to do promotions that might be impossible otherwise for you to do. I love strategic partnerships, and I don't think enough of you take advantage of this. Maybe you're thinking travel, a radio station. Well, very few radio station promotions are successful. Very few from my perspective, because I get to see the few that work and the mass majority that fail. Yeah, they have listeners, they have an audience, but also to them, it's about making money and selling advertising space. And well, it has to have a real a lot of secret ingredients for that to work. But my point is, if you work with an organization or a company or another influencer, and I'm not saying that they would be the group leader at all, I'm just saying they may have a great following and be able to deliver big numbers to you and basically give you a platform to partner with. We'll also call that a joint venture, a JV, joint venture. That's number 19. All right, number 20. You know what number 20 is? We could spend all day talking about this too, but why not just get into meetings and incentives, corporate meetings and incentives? I think it's an untapped area. I think most advisors think that, hey, it's too complicated for me. They go direct, or there are big companies that already do it. And you know what? You're right. They do go direct. Yeah, direct. There are a few companies that already specialize in incentives, meetings, and corporate travel. But there's not enough. I think there's a big opportunity for you. And so many of you know this, that yes, it does require special training, meeting planner training. You need to be a meeting planner as well and understand that part of it. And the negotiating process with the brand and with the organization, with the business, with the person is very different too. It's a slightly different ballgame. But at the end of the day, in my book, corporate meetings and incentives fall under the affinity group category because they are. And I love them to pieces because the profitability is higher. You don't have to worry about marketing to the individuals to sign up because that business, that organization does it for you. And normally, not always, especially for an incentive, they hand you one check and pay for everybody. Isn't that a beautiful thing? All right. So there's your 20, but obviously I said over 20. I think there were more than 20. I don't know. I can't count. I can't get my number straight. So we have a few minutes left. So stick with me here because I think you will find Holly's opportunity especially interesting, intriguing, and inspiring. And I want to get your feedback on it. So let me read it. I'll paraphrase quick to you. In the past, I have specialized in river cruising. It's taken a back seat because most of my clientele is still hesitant about international travel, but that's where my true heart lies. I'm in the process of moving to a large gated community. I'm going to be partnering with another independent contractor who already lives there. They're going to join forces under Holly's license, which is awesome. And she may start a travel club, but not a pay to be a part of the club, but more of a community. And I love this, Holly. I love it. A community and hosting a monthly Let's Talk Travel get together. And I think there are others in the group who have already done this or are currently doing it, who live in communities. And this is what makes it so perfect. It won't be a selling platform, but rather an opportunity to share information, pique people's interest, and get them to know and trust us. That's important. So Holly, you're ahead of the game here. Bon Vivant Voyages. You know that you have your niche. You know that you have a potential audience. You know that you need to become the celebrity authority. You are having events. You are building your followers. You're building that funnel, right? Having people following you and potential prospects and showcasing your knowledge as a celebrity authority. Perfect, beautiful, magnificent. I previously hosted River Cruising 101 seminars with pretty good success, and I thought I'd use the same format. Terrific. We'd meet in the early evening and share a glass of wine and talk travel. So here's the question. Should I set up some group cruises ahead of time just to be able to offer them to the participants, not really knowing what people would be interested in? Or Should I wait to hear people out to see what they would like to do? Because she wants to make the transition from travel orator to travel advisor and move into the group sales arena. So the opportunity is great. Your setup is great, Holly. And I'm curious to see what other people are going to say. But I want to tell you right now that I don't think it's necessary. You're asking me. And because you're asking, my guess is you already know the answer to this. It's probably not a good investment of your time and resources to go be blocking space, because that's speculative, right? That's promotional space. And we're talking affinity, which is where you want to be. You're also tying up inventory on the, having been on the brand side for years, you're tying up inventory that may or may not sell. They're used to it. They get it. They know that it's a very high attrition level. However, I think, Holly, I think you need to, you say here, you want to hear them out. You want to get to know what interests them. This is a new community. You don't know who they are. You don't know where they've traveled. You don't know where they want to travel. And especially if you're looking to do more groups than individuals, you need to see, generally speaking, where the majority of people have been, where they want to go back, where they want to go, especially if they would want to go there with you. So I would hold off on that. I would start off with a variety. In fact, you can even reach out and say, hey, we can't wait. And if there's a product, if there's a destination, if there's an experience you wish me to talk about. So I would even, Holly, I would even ask them, what do you want us to talk about? Help us to create an agenda for you. It's our pleasure to share information. It's our pleasure to share helpful information. Give us an idea of what areas you'd love to learn more about. And Holly said, you're going to do that at the first meeting. Kyle says, find out what they want or problem they have. Right. Then solve it with examples, possibilities, and not groups you already held. So thank you, Kyle. I agree. I appreciate that support on the same answer. Sam says, I think first Holly should first focus on building relationships and let them get to know you and you get to know them. I couldn't agree with you more. You're going to have patience, Holly. You're putting yourself in opportunities way. So many things on this build your business list that we've talked about today. And one of the most important things is to, as Kyle said, solve problems and to play detective. Who are they? Where do they want to go? Where have they been? What works for them? And the more you communicate with them, the more you meet, the more you chat, the more you'll learn. And I think it's totally fair, Holly, for you to say, hey, I'm looking to plan something special for 2022 or 2023, whatever you want to say, Holly, and say, we're looking to plan our next big group adventure. And I'm curious to see where everyone wants to go. Well, why can't you ask that question? I'm curious to see everyone where you might want to go, because you don't want to sound too salesy, right? Because if you say, where do you want to go? They're going to say, oh, this is a trap. If I tell Holly that I want to go to an all-inclusive in Cancun, then if I tell her that, then she's thinking I'm going, and I don't know who Holly is just yet, right? Sorry, Holly, for using your name as an example, but I'm just giving an example that you're better off making it really true and heartfelt. Now, you may have an idea, Holly, of where you really do want to go, whether it's river cruising, whatever it is, clearly, because that's your expertise and your passion. So maybe you say, I'm looking to plan our next river cruise group trip. I'm just curious, where have you been? Is there any place you'd like to learn about? Because it would also help me pick and choose what the next itinerary should be. See, your information, your feedback will help me understand where it might be fun, where I should go next. And that's when somebody say, well, actually, we haven't done the Lower Danube. So if you go, I'll go. There you go. If you go, I'll go. Holly said the IC is not focused on river cruising. Do you think it would be all right if we alternate monthly meetings? Me presenting river cruise info one month and her variety on destinations next? Yes, absolutely. It shows that you both have your expertise. You're a team, if you will, but you also have your own separate passions and expertise. I love it. I hope you put some of these into play, because if you do, I promise you will build a bigger, better group business.